Are you ready for another sketch challenge? Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here. I have a bright summertime page for you today that's based on a sketch. I can't wait to show you how I altered the design to create this simple mixed media layout. On my desk I have the Summer Pastime kit from Not Just for Boys Kit Club. If you watched their unboxing video, you might notice that I have a few pieces missing. I'll share what I have here, but I do suggest that you head on over to their site to view all the items that come with this month's kit. As you can see, there are some awesome papers here from Reminisce, Echo Park, and Simple Stories. This mix of basic patterns and travel prints are great for your summer vacation photos. This also includes a Summer Snapshots 12x12 Simple Story sticker sheet, Sunny Blooms Alpha Thickers, die cut frames from Vicki B, 5 yards of twine, and Let's Take a Trip titles and phrases. As I create today's project, I'll bring in a few additional supplies. As always, I encourage you to use what you have in your collection, but if you would like a list of the items I'm using today, I've provided you with that list in the description below, along with a link to this kit. Each month, Merity shares a sketch in the Not Just for Boys Facebook community. I'll pop the sketch onto the screen real quick so that you can see what it looks like. Throughout the month, our team uses that sketch and shares how it inspired a scrapbook page design. In this sketch, there are 2 vertical photos. Now, mine are horizontal, so instead of trying to make them fit across the page, I'm going to rotate that sketch. I'll place my photos over here on the right and create the torn elements over on the left. Let me show you how this page is going to come together. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that I have control issues when it comes to mixed media. I often share ways that I overcome this, like this tip for tearing paper with a water brush. I sat the photo on the page so that I knew how much space I needed, and I'm drawing a waterline with my brush. This is where I will tear the page. The water brush technique is one that I've used for many years, and it's a very simple way to control your paper tearing. I trimmed down both patterns so that I could create a 1/2-inch frame with a deep navy cardstock. I had to bring in a ruler to help me line everything up here. If you're not a fan of tearing paper, you could recreate this look with untorn pattern paper. You could also bring in some stitching, border elements, or some twine to the space as well. In the sketch, there are some areas of mixed media, and it looks a lot like paint smooshes. There's also a couple of little hexagon images. I'm going to replicate that with stencils and stamps. I brought in a Vicki B stencil from my stash, and I'm going to create a subtle tone-on-tone design with fossilized amber Distress Oxide ink. Yellow is such a bright, summery color, and I was honestly worried that it would overwhelm my page. Adding a stencil design like this is going to help break up that color and add a little texture to my design. One tip I frequently mention for stenciling backgrounds is to leave some of the parts of the image unfilled. Having partial or broken sections enhances the openness of the design, and it provides areas for the eye to relax. I also vary the intensity of colors to add depth and dimension. In the sketch, there is a section where the journaling and a small tab sit. I'm going to replicate that over here on the left side, so I'll add some stenciling in this area also. I might come back and add more later, but for now I'll leave it as is. In the sketch, there are some hexagon shapes around the photo. These can be replicated with die cuts, rub-on transfers, or stamps. That's what I'm going to use here. I like the classic look of black and yellow, so I'm going to use Black Soot Distress Oxide ink with a few stamps from my stash to add some basic florals. To be honest, I'm not going to be super careful with the stamping. I want a few of these to be broken and layered like the stencil background. Most of the images will be hidden behind my photo, so they don't need to be perfect. The stamp set I'm using comes with large flowers, small flowers, and leaves, so I'm just going to stamp them randomly in this upper right corner, and then I'll add some more in the lower left, creating a frame for my photos. As I continue to stamp these images, I would love it if you took a moment to tap the subscribe button or thumbs up icon. This year my goal is to grow my channel and share more techniques with paper crafters like you. I also appreciate each of your comments. Every week I sit down and read about what you've learned and take time to answer your questions. This is something I enjoy, and I'm thankful to each of you who take time to add a comment to each video. Alright, now that the mixed media elements are finished, I'm going to bring in a few frames from the kit to place behind the photo. As I was stamping, you might have noticed that I kept layering the film frame and photo over my images. This just helped me to figure out where I needed to place the stamps. Now, I knew that I wanted to use that film frame so that I could bring more black to my design, but I also want to add some more yellow. I've grabbed one frame that has the phrase "memory captured." I'm going to place this at the top of the photo, and I'm going to add a yellow pattern frame on the left side of the photo. I trimmed quite a bit from each of those chipboard pieces before I laid them in place. I love the look of chipboard elements, but layering them like this can add a lot of bulk to your pages. Trimming off the excess reduces the layers, and you don't have to use as much foam tape behind your photo to make up for those layers of chipboard. So far, I have just stuck to yellow and black on this page, but I think I need to bring in a few more colors from the photo. I'm going to start with this little flower icon. It has some lovely blue and peach colors that match the photo. I discovered this little icon on one of the Simple Stories 3x4 journal cards in the kit. Often I cut out the images on these cards and use them to decorate my page when I can't find a sticker or die cut that works for my design. I just quickly fussy cut around it and the leaves, and then I layered it with this adorable banner title. I popped the banner on some foam tape, layered my flower over a little sun phrase sticker, and added the leaves. How cute is that? Now that I've added blue to the page, I need to bring some of that color to the top of the photo and balance out this design. I'll just grab this little chipboard frame here and tuck it with the other frames. For my journaling, I'm going to use one of the cut-apart cards from the Simple Stories collection. I wanted to bring in some of the yellow pattern over here, so I'm using the leftover bit from the frame and placing it next to the card like a piece of washi tape. Off camera, I added more stenciling to this side of the page to make it look like a continuous pattern on both sides of the layout. I have layered a phrase sticker on my card, and I plan to place this little flower behind it. Now, this is the part of the video that I usually edit out, but I think it's good for you to see that I make plenty of mistakes too. I forgot that I wanted to stamp a flower element in this space, but that journal card was stuck tight, so I attempted to stamp it without a block. At first, it looked like I accomplished the task, and then I noticed that I had ink all over the sticker, and as I tried to remove it, I smudged it all over the journal card. I know that you've all been here. Now, I tried to use a sanding eraser to remove the ink, but it wasn't coming up, so I had to pivot. and go a different direction at the top of that card. I grabbed the cut apart sheet and cut out a little blue label. This matches the frame and the flowers. I also cut out a phrase that says "nothing but blue skies." I decided to layer those items over that smudged mistake. I placed the flower behind them, and I brought in a few more stickers. I found some cute little sunglasses and a phrase, "Summer Adventures." As I'm looking at this, I just realized that I didn't even cover up that ink smudge. So I'm going to move a few things around and then I'll share the finished layout with you. As I said, normally I edit out those big mistakes, but I know you've all been there. You have a plan, make an error, and you have to find a way to fix it. Honestly, I think I like the way this looks more than what I had planned. I'm going to bring back that sketch once again so that we can take a look at how I was inspired by that design. The first thing I noticed was the large torn element across the page, the smushed mixed media, and the hexagon stamped images. My photos were oriented differently, so I decided to rotate the sketch and create my torn element over on the left. I added stenciling for my mixed media element, brought in stamped flowers, and added a smaller title below the photo. This journal element up here is a great addition to the page, so I added one down here in the corner and brought in more stenciling and some phrases to my design. My goal today was to show you how to use a sketch from the Not Just for Boys Facebook community, along with the Summer Pastime Kit. With a mix of bright colors, simple mixed media, and summary icons, I created a beautiful layered page. I hope this project inspired you to try something new. If you're one who enjoys pinning projects to inspiration boards, I've added still shots of this layout to my social media posts, website, and to the Not Just for Boys Kit Club blog. For more ideas using the Summer Pastime Kit, head on over to the Not Just for Boys community on Facebook. I want to thank you for joining me today and following along through the crafting mishaps. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies I used, feel free to leave those in the comments below. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.